He threw that patch on to make it look like he was in a club, but he was never in a club.
They want to be able to tack like 15 felonies upon jaywalking across the street. This outlaw motorcycle member was, and it doesn't matter what they stack on you.
Because they're their friend or they know somebody and they start hanging them around and making them official hang around. Next thing you know, they're prospecting. Before you know it, they got a patch. And I'm going, you've never been in a club.
His dad was a bandito. He borrowed $100 from the club. It might have been 1,000. I don't know. But his own son was 86.
I think it was from that point on, I was like, one day, I'm going to be one of those guys.
And he said, if you don't get on a stand, you're going to lose. You're going to jail. I said, I can't take the stand.
Welcome to this episode of Chattin with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got PeeWee. What's up, PeeWee?
What's going on, Billy?
I'm doing great. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So today, a lot of people have been writing in, asking me questions to ask you. There's a couple people have written in and wanted me to ask you if you knew anything about them.
I take the fifth.
On most of them, right?
Right.
You're not like Pat Matter. I'm telling all of them. So one thing I wanted to talk to you about is there is people out there who talk that you're on the internet telling your story, but they're on the internet telling their story too. So it's very odd, don't you think?
Yeah, most of those people are full of shit. Most of them people are the ones who talk all that shit behind your back and tell other people you're this, you're that, but they don't say it to your face,
Yeah. And I'm about to show you some pictures of some pretty infamous people. And you explain if you know them, and if you have a little story about them, maybe share a story about them. Does that sound good?
Okay.
Or we'll start off with this one.
Mel Chansy. Yeah, it's Road. They called him Road when he was in the club. He's my best friend, you know what I mean? He's like my blood brother. We're always in contact with one another. He just had me out to visit him, you know what I mean? And he's a good dude, man. I mean, I'd jump in front of a gun for him.
Yeah, he's a great guy. When did you first meet him, and what was it like meeting him?
I met him. I was in the Sinners Motorcycle Club, and he was a Hell's Henchman. And we would go up and party with the Hell's Henchmen, and that's how I met Mel when he was called Road. And that's how I got to know him. So I knew him when he was very, very young, in his early 20s. And then even after he became a Hell's Angel, he was like one of the youngest presidents of the Hell's Angels. But I mean, he handled business, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
he took care of that city. He took care of that city of Chicago. I said in my book, he's the mayor. He's the mayor of Chicago.
It was no easy task, right? With what he was dealing with.
No. He handled it.
To be where he is today, it's a long road.
Yeah. He changed his life. He changed his whole life around. Yep.
All right. So I got another guy for you. You tell me. I mean, obviously, you know this guy because you're in the picture with him, but who's this guy?
Oh, Cisco from Oakland. He's passed away. He's passed away now. One of the best Hell's Angels I ever met in my life. And I learned a lot from that man, and I had the utmost respect for him. Basically, I mean, I had tears in my eyes when I heard he died. Great man. Great man. I wish I could have went to his funeral. Him and I love doo-wop music. I have so much doo-wop that he made me and his name's on it, and it means a lot to me.
When did you first meet him?
I met him the first time was back in 1994 when I was prospecting from Minnesota, and we went to San Francisco for a USA World Run, and that's where I met Cisco there. And he's just been a big influence in my life. I mean, I've been at his house. I go listen to doo-wop music with him. We both had that in common, the doo-wop music. And he turned me on to some old doo-wop I didn't even know, so it was pretty cool.
When I was a real young kid, I used to listen to that kind of music. Real old school, yeah.
I'll tell you what was really cool about him. He was so classic, man. He was such a classic dude. I can't say it enough. I really can't. I honestly don't give him enough credit for the great guy he was. But I remember I was sitting up in his office upstairs in his house, and he had a grand piano behind us set up on the rack in front of the piano. The music sheet was all penciled in. And he said, hey, look at that, PeeWee. I bought that at an auction. I paid big bucks for that. Do you know what that is? And I said, no. He goes, go over and read it. And I read it. It's the original writing of the song and the music in pencil to Unchained Melody from the Righteous Brothers. Yeah, and he had that. Yeah, he had that on his piano. I'll never forget as long as I live.
That's pretty wild.
That is. It really is, man. I mean, to have something like that, wow.
Yeah, that's iconic.
That's just one of many things he had, you know.
Was he a collector?
Yeah, and he collected a lot of old doo-wop music. Like I said, you know, he turned me on to tons of it. I just went down and I seen, like, I'm not exaggerating, probably 30 to 40 CDs that I have that say doo-wop 1, doo-wop 2, doo-wop 3, all the way through. And then it says Cisco on the top, you know.
Yeah.
And then he gave me one with his mugshot on it. And it says his name on the bottom of it. With, you know, he's holding the card, you know, with his face turned to the side. And on the top, it says country love songs. And they're all songs about screwing and, you know, just plain fucking and all that stuff.
His hair turned white, right?
No, his hair pretty much stayed pretty black. I mean, I don't remember with white hair. No.
Who's this guy?
Oh, that's Steve Towson. That's Mr. 187. He's another one I miss dearly. When I left the club, he begged me to come back, and he said, I'm going to make this right. And I said, just Steve, let it go. Because those guys were already talking shit, you know what I mean? And he said, I'll pound every one of them with you. We would have been pounding everybody because that's all he did was talk.
Where did you meet him?
Oh, man, I met him way back in 1994 when I was prospecting too. And then he left the club for a while to raise his kids, which you got to admire him for that because, you know, his chick took off. And then once he got his kids situated and they were old enough, he came back to the club.
So that's a very rare situation.
Right. And I remember one time he came up to me, he said, you need anything, big guy? I said, I don't need a damn thing from you, Steve. And he goes, PeeWee, I'm a prospect. You got to treat me like one. I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it, man. No way. That dude's a straight up hero, warrior, you name it. He's all of them.
He used to negotiate with the Mongols, right?
Yeah, he was the main guy negotiating with the Mongols because he called me up, asked me to sit in on it with him. I told him I would do it with him. With him, I would. There's other people asked me I wouldn't do it with. But unfortunately, he was killed at a Hell's Angel funeral from another Hell's Angel shot him. Yeah. I wasn't there, so I don't know the particulars. I'm not going to get in detail, you know, because I wasn't there.
Like you said, they eat their own a lot, right?
Yeah, exactly. See more of that than anything else. And it's sad, too.
It really is.
It really is.
This is him, right?
Yeah, that's him.
Yeah.
You could do that all day long, man.
I remember the first time I seen a Harley do a wheelie, I was like in awe. I was like, holy shit, I didn't know you could do that with one of those.
Oh, he was great at him, bro. Great at him. He was great at him. He's a good dude, man. I truly miss him. I do. I really do.
All right, who's this guy?
George Christie. I know George very well. He's doing well for himself, you know.
Yeah.
Writing his books, doing the tour. When he was out talking on the road, I went and saw him. I think it was in St. Louis. I went to see him, and George is a good speaker. You know, he carries himself well, and he always represented the club very well, I thought, when he was speaking. You know, it was hard for Sonny because Sonny had the throat cancer. He always had to like hold that air thing on his throat, and he was whispering most of the time. But George, when people say, "Oh, we threw this guy out of the club because he talked to cops," we all had to talk to cops. We just don't pull over to the side of the road and sit there and not say anything. We all go to jail then.
Yeah.
So he's got to be smart enough to talk. And George was the guy who would step up to the plate. I had to do it every time in Sturgis. Because these guys,
they look to you guys for leadership qualities.
Right. I mean, it was so bad by us in Vegas. I was in the pool swimming, and the guys came back. "Hey, PeeWee, the cops are here. They want to talk to you." I said, "Well, go talk to them. Find out what they want." And they came back. They go, "They want to talk to you. They only talk to you." So I throw a towel around my back. I walk out all pissed off, all soaking wet. I go, "Yeah, what do you want?" And they said, "Hey, PeeWee, how you doing?" I said, "Yeah, I'm doing great. What's up?" And he says, "Hey, we got a couple complaints about the music. Could you just turn the stereo down a little bit?" I said, "That's it?" And he goes, "Yeah." I said, "We'll do it right now." And he goes, "Thanks, man. Have a good night." I said, "Yeah, you too." I turned around and I said, "You dumb fuckers," because they're all standing there, Not one of you guys could talk to him about turning the music down. Yeah. So I guess I got pushed out of the club for not becoming a Hell's Angel, telling the cops I'll turn the music down.
Yeah, but you were sensing a vibe from everybody, and you ended up saying, "I'm done with this," right?
Oh, yeah.
They didn't push you out.
No, they didn't push me out. I could have stayed.
Yeah.
I could have fought the whole room. I could have fought the whole room, bro. It wouldn't have mattered. Especially with my kid there, we would have mopped the place. Those white walls would have been red when we left.
Who's this guy?
Yeah. Oh, that's De La Brava, DL. One of the most fascinating guys. High-spirited, high-strung, but all heart, man. His heart is as big as he is, man. He's a good dude. I had so much fun with that cat. I really do, man. And that picture was taken right there at my 50th birthday party.
And you were an active member at that time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
And when did you first come across
I could see the shirt that was on him, and that was for my birthday party. A T-shirt. Yep.
Yeah. When did you first come across him?
I think he was prospecting. He came out to Sturgis, and he was hanging out with me. And I swear to God, I never had more fun with a guy prospecting than with DL. I mean, he was just so high strung. He was a funny guy, man. If I said, "Hey, go down there and talk to the guy, tell him to take his patch off," he'd go down there. I'd just be watching down the alley. They'd be arguing. I said, "Bink!" He'd headbutt the guy. he was like just high anxiety. That was the perfect way to describe him.
Yeah.
We'd be in the bar, and I'd say, "Hey, those two guys over there, they said," and before I could even say what they said, he'd run over there and be fighting with them. Yeah, he was the best. I went out of my way to, make sure that I bought him personally from me, like his 1 year, his 1 year plaque. And I really enjoyed DL's company. And he's no longer in the club. He quit the club, but he was in Sons of Anarchy, and he did well and stuff like that. And I wish him the best. I don't hear from him anymore, but I do wish him the best. I still love the dude, man. So good luck to you out there, DL.
He's probably continuing his acting career, I imagine, right?
Yeah, I would say so, yeah.
Maybe we'll see him on Yellowstone or something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah.
All right, who's this guy?
That's Sonny.